Welcome back to That Gameplace, everybody. How is everyone doing on this beautiful Saturday night? There's been a lot of rain in the forecast, but I'll tell you what's coming up in our forecast. It's a lot of fun. And I don't kid that because the reviews are in for Donkey Kong Bonanza, and it's looking crazy. The game literally just launched like 2 days ago, and we got a lot to cover on what the public perception of that game is. Is it great, or is it complete and utter trash? Well, you know what? We're going to find out some more and see what the public just has to say. We're also going to be hearing a bit more from our good friends at Ubisoft and their baffling decisions, as well as a Nintendo Switch 2 stapler going up at auction. It's going to be a weird news week, but I cannot do this alone because if I was by myself, well, I'd get scared at night. But you know what? The nightlight in my life is here right now, and his name is Culturecasino.
Hello,
how you doing,
everybody?
My friend?
I'm fantastic. I'm great. I'm spectacular. I'm super, but not as super as the guy hiding backstage. This man can tear a t-shirt in half, but he doesn't because he likes to not spend money on clothing because, well, it's really expensive to clothe your body when you're that big. And let me introduce Kevin Apollo.
Going on, Jet. And yeah, you're right. If I made Hulk Hogan money, I'd be ripping my t-shirts everywhere I went.
That's what I thought. That's what I
Please
thought.
get a That Gameplace t-shirt that rips open for me. That'll be our first ad bumper. Membership milestone, baby.
When we hit 10,000, I'll rip the shirt.
All right.
That is the best milestone goal I've ever seen in my life. Would you disagree, Culture?
No, I think that's a beautiful thing. And we've got lots of beautiful things happening, like lots of people in the chat right now. Argentum, McSpoon, the lovely Juliet. Look at all these amazing. Yeah, look at that. Chris Dickerson's out there. There's an immigrant backstage. Nuh-uh. This man's 100%. He is a real American, and he's going to rip his shirt. That's right. we got Crunch Punts out there. We got a lot of folks. I really am glad you're here. Low Specs out there with his gaming, Linux gaming, that is. And look, I'm going to read the super chats right up front, if that's okay, Nolan, because we have
Sounds
one
like a plan to me.
The best number in the alphabet, J. See, and now you're all confused because there are no numbers in the alphabet. But J for $5 in quarters says, don't forget to wish Kirsha a happy birthday this week. He wrenches presented her. There we go. Her wrenches. There was the art was missing. I'm like, she's a she. Anyway, her wrenches presented her with a billboard in Massachusetts advertising her stream today. That's awesome. Okay, so for my birthday, I want a billboard. Okay. All right. Good. Congratulations to Kirsha. I will definitely wish Kirsha a happy birthday this week on my show. And the lovely Juliet drops proper money, ladies and gentlemen. Some $5 of proper pounds sterling, saying good morning. That Gameplace, Nolan Thunder, Casino, panelists, and chat. Thank you.
Great to see you. You're always, everywhere I go, Juliet, you show up, so I appreciate it. And instead of restraining order, I want to give you a hug. You are a good person, my friend. Thank you.
Scott Somers is out there. What's up, Scott? Good to see you, buddy. We got lots of people in the house. The Tom F is here. The Tom F.
Yes.
And and the man himself who is going to tear a t-shirt. I'm serious. It's the House of Apollo. Man, looks good. All right, Nolan, we've got a story, or I've got a feeling we've got a story, or two, or three, or four.
6.
6. We got 6 stories, so we're going to get to them. I'm going to put the first one up for you right now. Give us some information on what we're going to be talking about.
All right. Well, like I said before, it's a really big news weekend because we got the big release of Donkey Kong Bonanza. Today's article is coming from Polygon, so thank you to them. And this article is by Ollie Welsh. In the article, it states, Donkey Kong Bonanza has the reviews of a Game of the Year contender. For those unaware, this game released just this past Thursday here, and it's very, very early impressions, but I tell you, all right, it's looking promising. Let's get into the article. Donkey Kong Bonanza, Nintendo Switch 2 exclusive platform game, has received glowing reviews that catapult it into the front of the race for Game of the Year. At the time of writing, shortly after the review embargo lifted, Bonanza has a rating of 91 on review aggregation site OpenCritic and 90 on Metacritic. Sadly, you'll have to wait a while for Polygon's own review, as Nintendo did not provide us with a pre-release version of the game. I'm not going to get into that can of worms. IGN's Logan Plant awarded Donkey Kong Bonanza a full 10 out of 10 masterpiece rating, calling it a truly groundbreaking 3D platformer. Eurogamer's Alex Donaldson was a little more mixed in his 4-star review, saying, "When it smashes, DK really smashes. When it doesn't, well, it's no Mario Odyssey, right?" Donaldson invokes Super Mario Odyssey because Bonanza was developed by the same Nintendo team. It's the first Donkey Kong to be developed in-house by Nintendo in Japan in 20 years. Nintendo also apparently is working on a Donkey Kong movie. Seems to be placing a new focus on DK as one of its most important characters. Going by these reviews, the strategy of bringing the Big Ape's latest game in-house is working. Bonanza is now one of the best reviewed games of 2025, alongside the likes of Claire Obscure, Expedition 33, Split Fiction, Blueprints, and Death Stranding 2. In turn, that makes Bonanza a contender to be reckoned with in the competition for Game of the Year. The top prize at the Game Awards is in December. Now, I have a lot of opinions on the Game Awards, but I more so want to mention and a question to you guys. Donkey Kong reviews right now seem to be exploding. Like, what do you guys think? Is everyone just shilling out Central right now? Or do you think there's a lot of reason to be very optimistic and excited for this new Donkey Kong game? Kevin, what do you think? What's going on here?
You know what? I'm going to say it's just fun to have fun. I'm going to give everybody the benefit of the doubt and say, it's Donkey Kong. It's been a while since we've had, him in a solo title. It's nice to see Nintendo putting some energy behind the character. It's every once in a blue moon Mario's got to share that spotlight. This is cool. This is cool. I'm into it. I'm looking forward to playing this whenever I decide to get a Switch 2 someday, one day. I can't say when because I'm not in a big rush. But when I do decide to do it, I will get Donkey Kong.
Boom! How about you, Culture? How are you feeling about this monkey? Is this monkey the bane of your existence, or do you think there's some joy at the end of this Rainbow Road?
Well, like I said, not one game or two games are going to get me to buy a console. It needs to be a catalog of games. The Switch 2, as soon as it does become property in my household, will definitely come with a bonanza of fun, because I love Donkey Kong, and I really did like the trailer. I thought it was an easy sell for somebody like me who appreciates Odyssey. This is right in that same wheelhouse, and I feel like we've got we've got a lot to explore and lots to find. There's probably more Easter eggs in this game than any other we've ever seen, because you can literally destroy everything. And that's a Hulk smash game I think every proper Hulk fan would enjoy, and definitely a Donkey Kong fan as well. In fact, I'm looking forward to the movie. I think if I were going to go bananas, I want to be able to find hot Easter eggs from the movie if I could. I think that'd be fun.
Oh, no, I think that's a great point there. And I love that you brought up the smashing element, because I heard a very interesting take on this game. I unfortunately have not gotten the chance to play it just yet, but I'm hoping to change that in the very near future here. Life's been very busy, lost in the files. But I'll tell you, an interesting take I heard about this game was that it was like a mix of Super Mario Odyssey, which makes sense, it comes from the same team, Kirby in the Rainbow Curse, I believe, was the most recent one. It was the 3D one. I can't remember the name off the top of my head right now, but it was the recent Switch one. And also, does anyone remember the Hulk game that was on the GameCube, like the Incredible Hulk? Kevin knows this game. Kevin, take the mic.
I had it for PS2. I love that game, and I won't lie. I put in the cheat code because you're the Hulk. So things like tanks, and you're at the top of the tank, and then you make your big tank Hulk hands, and you just run around smashing buildings. And the only game I had more fun with than the Hulk game was the Punisher game. But I am so sad that that they dropped that trend of releasing Marvel games, because Hulk super speed jumping and smashing. Who can ask for more?
No, I agree. And if we're talking about we need a Nintendo equivalent of the Punisher game now too. We need like a Mario AR-15 type game or something. Oh my gosh, yeah. Let's not make that. But I'll still take the Mario paintball game. I'll tell you though, it definitely seems like it's garnering a lot of hype here, and I think that's really what Nintendo needs right now. Because as I've said before, Mario Kart is fun, but it's something that you go to just expect. It was kind of there from the start with the original Switch, you know. It was a pack-in title for certain releases, you know, it had already been on the Wii U. This is the chance Nintendo really needs to wow people again. And if you're bringing up what some people consider to be tried and true classics in comparison, that's always a great sign. And I really hope this is leading to a big rebound for the Switch 2, kind of like the 3DS had, at least in terms of the public sense, because right now we know sales are still looking pretty good. And I'm seeing a lot of stuff talking about how this game has a lot of very open world aspects to it, because a lot of games Nintendo games post like Breath of the Wild, Tears of the Kingdom. A lot of games have been taking influence, and I think we're possibly on the right track for a lot of fun here. Culture, do you think we'll be seeing any more Switch games come down the pipeline that will finally bring that good old Culture Casino cash, hitting that Target desk and be like, hey, give me that Switch 2, homie?
You know, I was thinking of like setting up a Throne account or something like that in case somebody wanted to buy me a Switch 2, you know, because, you know, we've got very generous people out there. But honestly, I think my purchase is going to rely very, very strongly on a more developed catalog. Perhaps Metroid, perhaps something will definitely crack the shell of me buying it in the future. And it won't take a Koopa to make that happen.
And if one thing before we wrap up on this story, Culture, if you want to bring up this one by McSpoon, I want to give an apology here. The game was called Kirby and the Forgotten Land was the name of the Switch 1 game. It was actually the first ever 3D Kirby game. It only took them like 20, 30 years, so correction on that. But yeah, I think there's a lot to be excited for, and I'm really eager to play it. And I know there's some free demo kiosks going around right now with the game's release. So if you guys see it, you know, your Target, Best Buy, or whatever, give the game a shot, because I think there's a lot of promise going forward here. But I think we'll put a wrap on this monkey business for now, but let's keep an eye on this, because this could make a big difference. Switch. Oh, Kevin, go ahead.
Well, so when the movie comes out, what do you think we get? This summer, get ready to go ape. Or this summer, get ready to go bananas. Which one?
I'm hoping for, like, they do like a Planet of the Apes parody, you know, maybe the Dr. Zaius thing from The Simpsons back in the day. Do that with Donkey Kong. Oh my goodness me. All right. Culture, would you like to bring up some of the amazing opinions of our beautiful chat out there? I see we got some more people joining.
You betcha. Butterbiscuit92 says riding the bus was amazing as the Hulk in that Hulk game. I agree. By the way, this is why I'm really kind of excited for Bonanza to play it, because I literally will go through every out level and destroy everything that is destroyable, because that's my jam. And yeah, even if I can't finish the level because I destroyed everything I needed to get to where I needed to go in the level, I will. This guy, 2 thumbs and the destroyer right here. But anyway, very excited for that. We got Argentum out there. Switch 2 is gonna need several more games for it before I buy it. See, this is I think I'm not the only person with this opinion, gentlemen. I mean, Kevin, you keep an eye on the bottom line, and I know, you have a house full of people to buy those toys for. So it gets a little spendy over there, and I don't know. I mean, Nolan, I don't see you waving around your Switch too.
Excuse me. I'm right here, sir.
Okay. All right. Well, okay.
I don't usually just wave at people and be like, "Hi, everyone. Welcome to that game place."
You might want to. You might want to just brag a little bit. And then McSpoon is out there. Oh, banana. By the way, okay. So another reason to love the game is minions. They're not in it, but there's lots of bananas. So yeah, banana. That's right, Culture Smash. That's right, Argentum. Anyway, I just want to say thanks to all of you who show such enthusiasm for what we do. But here's the problem: we got stories, and we got a little bit of time to get through them. And I'm going to say, "Hail, boss! What do we got next?"
Oh, we got our headline story coming up, Culture, and it's a big one. A very big one. I dare say it's the biggest gaming news of the week. Sir, it is ready whenever you are.
Well, I'm ready. I don't know if anybody else is. Oh.
Kevin, are you ready for the greatest news of your life?
I am.
Let's do it, boys! Okay, this comes off out of That Park Place, the greatest site for news. If you haven't bookmarked it yet, what are you doing, homie? Check it out. And it comes from the great editor-in-chief himself, Marvin Montanero. In the headline, it states, Nintendo reveals Zelda and Link casting for live-action The Legend of Zelda film. And it's not Hunter Schafer. We'll get into that can of worms a bit later, but let's focus on the Zelda news for now. In a highly anticipated announcement that has sent waves through the gaming and film communities, Nintendo legend and Zelda creator Shigeru Miyamoto revealed casting for the lead actors for the upcoming live-action adaptation of The Legend of Zelda. The film, a collaboration between Nintendo and Sony Pictures, and hopefully going better than the last time those two collaborated, will feature Bo Braxton as Princess Zelda and Benjamin Evan Ainsworth as the heroic Link. The news was shared via Nintendo's official social media channels and the Nintendo Switch app, making a significant milestone for the project, first teased back in 2023. Miyamoto's statement on the Legend of Zelda casting read, "This is Miyamoto," which I always love that he always starts out like, "This is Miyamoto." In case you think it's anyone else, it's the man, the myth, the legend, it's him. I am pleased to announce that for the live-action film of The Legend of Zelda, Zelda will be played by Bo Braxton's son, and Link by Benjamin Evan Ainsworth's son. I am very much looking forward to seeing both of them on the big screen. The film is slated for a theatrical release on May 7th, 2027, giving fans plenty of time to speculate on how this beloved video game franchise will translate to the silver screen. Alright guys, there's a lot to unpack here. The concept of a Zelda movie, the casting choices, we got a lot of things. So let's just go ahead and start with like the thing I think everybody's kind of has on their mind right now. The casting, because even if you're not super into Zelda, you know Link, you know Zelda, you might not always get their names right, but they're some of the most famous fictional characters out there. Kevin, what do you think of this casting right here? Do these look like our wonderful elf comrades that come from the medieval land? Like, what do you think of this? Does this great? Do you like this? Is it terrible?
I'm into it. They did a good job. They did a really good job. I would imagine this was probably really difficult to cast and to not fall into the trap of either going with a complete and total no-name kid actor or an overly expensive kid actor just because they were hot. I was glad they took their time with this. And I also kind of, have to respect it because, being an 80s, 90s baby, especially when you hit the 90s, everybody always talked about wanting to see these kind of movies. We never thought we'd get it. And if we did get it, we were going to be terrified of it because it was probably going to be awful. But looking at this, it looks like you got the two main characters cast properly. So we're already heading in a really good direction. So I'm really hopeful. I'm hopeful.
I love that take. Culture, give me your own unique spin on this. Like, how you feel about this? Do you like what we're seeing here?
I think they made a solid effort at getting the right look for the characters specifically based on the games. I mean, you have to remember, we were looking at polygons when these characters first came into existence, so it wasn't exactly a lot of definition in what they were going to appear to be. Not until we got to the most recent Breath games that I felt like we had solid representation of what they might look like in the real world. And if that's what they were aiming for, they did a good job. And they didn't do a stunt casting that would satisfy, a fraction of a percentage of people out there that could have created a lot of, division between actual game fans and, radical, activists. But overall, my point here is that if they just put points on the ears of these people, I think we'd already be ready to make a movie. So there you go.
I think that's a great point, and I think I like that you brought up division because, I think Nintendo are going to be looking more at addition because I think this is going to do very well at the box office if they play this movie smart. Because we talked a bit about this for those that watch Tooney Talk TV on Thursdays over at Marvin the Movie Monsters channel. Great show, check it out. We were talking a bit about how making a Legend of Zelda movie is extremely tricky. If Nolan Thunder had his own way here, I would make it like a Pixar short film, like it's silent for like the first 20 minutes of the game because I don't like hearing Link talk, and I'd let the visuals do what they need to do, let the characterization maybe like little gags with Navi or something like that. However, this is Hollywood, baby. They don't tend to like films that are made like this. They like it to follow, some more safe structures, the hero's journey is a popular trope. I tend to like things a little bit more of the black sheep, and these kind of things, but it does seem like so far they're playing things safe, which I think financially is the smarter move to make. I gotta say, these casting choices, I think Miss Bo Braxton here, she's beautiful. I could totally see her as Princess Zelda here. Link here by Benjamin. I have to give this actor props. Like, that is naturally square jaw, reminds me of the N64 polygons back in the day. Like, Link always had that face, where he's so stern, making that Batman smug, type thing.
A little blocky.
Yes. Yeah. But yeah, I that's great though, because it fits the character. It's like if I was casting someone as Lara Croft, I mean, if she was, complete with that kind of body type, I think that would be staying true to the character. My only thing here is, please correct me if I'm wrong here, gentlemen. Are these actually stills from the movie, or are these from other, projects they've worked on? I meant to do a little bit of research on this prior, but kind of lost the time on it. If that's the case, would this be because I've seen Link as a brunette, I've seen Link as a blonde. I've never seen him with dark hair, so I'm kind of digging that. I like some of the creative liberties they're going with here.
Yeah, no, I think this is from other material they've been in when they were a little bit younger. Each of them, as far as I know, at least the girl is over 18 now, so she's an adult. She's been in some adult roles going back 2 years now, so I'm not certain how old the young man is, but I do believe this is from other work because I don't think they've shot a frame of film.
Yeah. Okay, so good to know. Thank you for clearing that up for the audience here. And I gotta say, I'm just I'm excited. I want to see Benjamin in that full-on tunic. And folks at Nintendo, there's an outline of how to do it right. There's been cosplay people for years who have taken gritty Link cosplay and make it look practical without looking super silly, But you also can't go too far the other direction. I honestly do not want to see Breath of the Wild Link, without the hat, the blue, the black. It's a great iconic costume, but at the end of the day, Link originated with that Peter Pan type aesthetic. I want to see that in the film. I want to stay true. I don't want to pull a Wolverine and wait 20-something years just to see him in the yellow. If you're making Zelda, go all out with it. And yeah, I think there's a lot of promise to be had here. Kevin, continuing on with this Zelda film here, I'm going to get your take here in just a moment, but let's talk a little bit about the background of what to anticipate with this Legend of Zelda project here. The Legend of Zelda franchise, created by Miyamoto in 1986, has become one of Nintendo's crown jewels with over 30 games spanning nearly 4 decades. The series follows the adventures of Link, a young hero tasked with saving the Kingdom of Hyrule and its princess, Zelda, from various evils, often involving the mysterious Triforce artifact. Iconic entries like Ocarina of Time, Breath of the Wild, A Link to the Past, Minish Cap, and Tears of the Kingdom have sold millions and influenced generations of gamers. The live-action film was originally announced in November of 2023, following the massive success of Nintendo's Super Mario Bros. Movie, which grossed over $1.3 billion worldwide. Nintendo is producing the project with Sony Pictures, with Avi Arad, known for the Marvel films like Spider-Man, on board as a producer. Directing duties fall to Wes Ball, the filmmaker behind the Maze Runner trilogy and Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes. Ball has expressed enthusiasm for blending fantasy elements with grounded storytellings, potentially drawing inspiration from games like Breath of the Wild for its open-world exploration and epic scope. While plot details remain under wraps, the film is expected to capture the essence of the series, adventure, puzzle-solving, and mystical lore. Production is set to begin soon, with a budget rumored to rival major blockbusters, emphasizing practical effects and CGI to bring Hyrule to life. Oh, you had my heart at practical effects, Miyamoto. The choice of relatively young, lesser-known actors aligns with Nintendo's vision of fresh faces embodying the timeless characters, avoiding preconceived notions from established stars. So I want to get into some of the speculation territory here a little bit, starting with you, Kevin. There are a lot of Zelda games out there. What do you think they're hoping to do with this film? Do you think it's going to be based a lot on one particular game? Do you think they're going to borrow from many? Like, do you think we'll see something as iconic as like a Breath of the Wild or Ocarina of Time trying to make a big adaptation of the stories? Or do you think Nintendo's going to throw us a curveball and be like, hey, here's Link fighting aliens or something? I don't know.
I hope not. The Alts versus aliens. I think they're going to borrow from a little bit of everything. I mean, all the games all borrow something from the previous entries. But I say just keep it simple. This is a KISS method movie. Don't go overboard in the dungeons. Give us, do the biggies. Give me some water, give me some fire, and then save your last scary realm for when he's got to go face Ganon, or let Ganondorf transform into Ganon. This way, you got 4 big monster fights. Let Hyrule be a character. That's part of what made Lord of the Rings so epic feeling when you saw it in the theaters. Was that you had a feel for the environment. So like show off Link's village, show off Zelda's castle. Show what happens when when Link's walking around in the swamps at night, and all of a sudden little skeleton people start showing up. Like there's a lot that they can do without bogging down the story. Plus, at the end of the day, all this has to do is be fun. Everybody's going to be sitting on the edge of their seat, waiting for the moment Link grabs the Master Sword and shoots a bolt of energy from it. It should be a loud, ruckus cheering moment. So just hit. At this point, you got to be KISS. You just got to hit. You just got to deliver the hits. Deliver the hits. Go home.
So what you're saying, Kevin, in other words, is the boys had their fun with the Minecraft movie. Now the men get their Zelda movie.
That's right. And if you can, find a way to sneak in an excuse me, princess, for the old folks.
If that happens, I'm walking out of the theater, Kevin. Culture. I think the Master Sword moment's going to be hyped. What do you think of all this? Do you think we're going to see a lot from the games? Do you think they're going to disappoint us and leave me crying out of the theater?
I think you're going to see a lot out of the games. The fact that Shigeru Miyamoto is actually going to be producing this in person, I think you've got high hopes. Wes Ball was pretty good with True Blood when he was working for HBO way back when. The Avi Arad, I could take or leave. I don't really think very highly of him. In fact, I would say that I would pick anybody else, in that role. The bigger problem is going to be what the story outline is and which of the stories they're going to tell. If they're going for most popular, it would probably be Ocarina of Time, but I don't think that's the era that they're going to be aiming for. What we're looking at going forward is going to be a decent representation of the hero that we've found. But the major question, and a lot of people in the audience have already been there, is whether or not we're going to hear any dialogue and whether we need to. I'm a big fan of the idea that, everybody around these characters talk, and for whatever reason, Link never has to. But I guess we'll find out in the course. I just can't imagine what the dialogue would be like, even though now it's just bouncing up and down next to another character with little thought bubbles popping up over their head. And even that would work as far as I'm concerned. I just don't think there's going to be a lot of need for dialogue from Link. And that might work better for, a visual storytelling medium that has been so popular for the decades that it has been. Those are my opinions. I think you have a lot to look forward to. And I'm not often very optimistic about anything.
Well, I know one thing that you are definitely optimistic about, though, Culture. It's our wonderful fans in the audience.
Oh, yeah.
Would you care to bring up some of their wonderful takes on screen here as we about ready to continue our second iteration of this overall Zelda story, but we'll take a little break in between.
Yeah, for sure. We got Butter Biscuit out there saying I'm passing like I did the Switch. I can emulate if I want. With what luck, the console will wrongly get bricked. I don't want to buy what I can't own. I fully understand that. Going back to early on, we had another one from our friend Hemorrhoid Hertz for an Australian $2 saying, good morning, CC and friends. Hello. It's a glorious day, I bet, down there in the land down under, my friend. Thank you for the Australian $2 super chat. And finally, Butterbiscuit one more time, Butterbiscuit92, one of our great supporters here for $5.25, which means we're getting close to a pizza, but not one that'll feed Kevin. So, yeah. And let's say it just won't. Wish it was animated. I think I understand what you're saying, Butterbiscuit. That way you can make the movie without Link talking, and now he has to. It's going to be weird to see an avatar have personality. All I hope for is Wessonality. But that's an old commercial joke. I'll say it this way. I think they can do it, but what do you guys think? You think that there's a possibility they can pull that off?
I think they can thread the needle on this, because I think the greatest example of this is, like, take the Tim Burton Batman movies. You know, I know not everybody's on board with them, but most people can agree, you know, Keaton was pretty fun as Batman. You might not always agree with his philosophy, but there was a lot of bad word I probably shouldn't be saying on this channel moments with the Batman, and he barely ever talked. You know, he just kind of said what needed to be stated in the moment. You know, he only really got to when it was like a serious, or he just needed to communicate a message. Now with Link, I think this is one of the few times we don't need to stay close to the sword material, because there'd be nothing worth with him, you know, about to impale Ganon with a sword and he just goes rah, 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 like that would be terrible. Yes. We can change it up a little bit, but I think he doesn't have to talk all the time, you know.
Well, look at Carl Urban's Dread. I know it's an odd comparison, and I'm only doing it because before Taika Waititi destroys the glorious memory of that movie, you know, it is worth noting. I think he said, what, 2 words the entire movie?
He didn't have to say a lot. Dread doesn't have to. You know, sometimes you're just the law. You know, I actually appreciated the first movie, but I think that Urban understood the character even more. But I think I also understand an amazing super chat from Doge for $2 saying, Butterbiscuit92, good luck at court. What's happening at court? Wait a minute. Is there something I missed? Probably.
Does it have any connection to all the crazy Nintendo Switch stuff we've had lately? My God.
I don't know. I'm like, I don't remember a court case.
I'd also like to give a big hello to Lauren Connor in the chat. I know he's got a big show coming up with Kevin Apollo here soon, so we'll be sure to promote that a bit once we hit the end of our stream here later on tonight. But you're in for a pretty good show from everything I've been hearing about, folks. So be on the lookout for that. Am I wrong, Kevin?
No, you were 100% correct. I even thought of a new game for us, too.
Uh-oh.
You stealing our thunder? Kevin, you stealing our thunder? You're going to steal our game headlines? Is that what's going on here? I thought we had something special, Kevin.
No, it's...
Replacing me with Lauren?
It's for Lauren. That's going to call a lore score. And you're going to have to see if you can outlore Lauren.
Oh, I think I'd pick death before that, because there's no way I'm beating Lauren. The Lauren is mightier than the sword, good sir.
It's also, and so is his hat. But I can't wait. I'm going to be behind the scenes trying to make these gentlemen sparkle and shine like the floor, like they were freshly scrubbed by Alice in the Brady Bunch. Anyway, Born in Boston is here feeding their addiction. We got Aaron out there. We got a few new names. It's great to see you all. Thanks for joining us live.
Welcome to the arcade,
Lauren. That's right. Welcome in. We appreciate you. And we got more. It's not. I'm going to say it this way. Nolan's not just a pretty face. He has more stories. So.
Thank you.
Stop it.
Anyways, let's get to part 2 of this story before I die of laughter here. Yeah. All right, Culture, would you like to bring it up, please?
Oh, no, I want to leave it down behind so nobody can read about gender activists. Oh, my.
Oh, boy. All right, everyone, we're getting to the weeds here. But much like Link going into the tall grass, we've got our sword. We're going to chop it down. Everything's going to be fine. We're still going to have a show by the end of the day, everybody. Okay. So moving on to part What'd you say, Kevin?
I said strap in and tuck.
Yeah, well, okay.
Okay.
We're going to stay on the other side of controversial, kids, because we're trying to have a game conversation here, and somebody gamed the system when it came to this. Let's just say,
this isn't that controversial place; it's that game place. Okay,
right.
So moving on to part 2 of this story. Gender activists lash out over Hunter Schafer not being cast as Zelda in live-action Legend of Zelda film. This is once again from That Park Place, once again by the amazing Marvin Montanaro, who produces a lot of unbiased, truthful news, so I really recommend checking out his work, everybody. There's Hunter up there. The story says, online discussion has heated up as gender activists express frustration following the casting reveal for Nintendo's live-action The Legend of Zelda movie, scheduled for May 7th of 2027. The announcement named Bo Bragason as Princess Zelda and Benjamin Evan Ainsworth as Link, putting an end to persistent rumors that Hunter Schafer, a biological male who identifies as a female, would play the role. These rumors, which started circulating in late May of 2025, were later exposed by That Park Place as originating from a PR firm associated with Schafer, not from official sources at Nintendo or Sony Pictures. So major credit to our team, particularly Marvin Montanaro here. I know he worked really hard behind the scenes on that. Despite the debunking, activists have reacted strongly, viewing the decision as a failure to embrace alternative casting choices they themselves would have preferred. Alright, so how the Hunter Schafer Zelda casting rumor started and was debunked. The speculation began with links from industry insider Daniel Richtman, Daniel RPK, suggesting Schafer was in consideration for Zelda. Fans created art and petitions, but reports soon clarified that the hype was manufactured by a PR agency connected to Schafer, aimed at generating buzz, which I gotta give credit to her team, seemed like I definitely got the buzz. That Park Place detailed in an article on May 30th, 2025, labeling it as propaganda rather than genuine studio interest. Further updates noted that casting calls targeted actors aged 16 to 23, excluding the 26-year-old Schafer. Even so, the idea lingered, leading to divided opinions when the official cast was announced on July 16th of 2025. And I'll begin your takes here at Culture and Kevin just a second here, but let's talk a bit about the reaction. Gender activists have criticized the choice, arguing it overlooked Schafer's visual similarity to certain depictions of Zelda, such as in Twilight Princess, which I actually very much agree with. Some see it as Hollywood avoiding risk, while others point out the rumors' artificial origins as reason enough for dismissal. Commentary has highlighted how the false narrative fueled unnecessary division, with initial opposition to Schafer giving way to complaints about exclusion once the rumors proved unfounded. Articles have described the situation as a botched opportunity, though skeptics attribute the backlash to overreaction or even planted publicly. And there's been a lot of feedback on X, very disappointed. I've heard word from Marvin himself that there's actually been some very very loaded statements in regards to how it's, being handled. So I want to go ahead, and I definitely have my own opinions on it, but I don't want to take the floor. I just rambled a lot on this thing. Kevin, what do you think's going on here? Do you think Nintendo made the right move here? Or do you think, maybe these activists have a point, with their similarities? I definitely have a lot to say, but I want to hear a bit from you. Let's give your opinion.
So I'm going to try to be fair here. And I will generally say, anytime I hear the word activist, I actively stop listening. The vast majority of folks are very happy. Listen, I get it. Hunter looks like Zelda from a particular game, but at 26, Hunter's a little too old. Also, too, this was a PR stunt. This was it's just Japanese culture does not, they tend to not like the woke stuff in any shape or form. So this is also going to be very highly unlikely. Also, Nintendo wants to make money. This would have definitely caused a massive divide. No matter which way it happened, there would have been negative coverage galore up until the movie came out, while the movie was released, and even after the movie, hit home video. It just would have been a disaster for them. So the right thing, and the fiduciary responsible thing was to go with some safe casting here. That said, I think this stunt is unfair to everybody. It's unfair to the young lady who got the role. It's unfair to Hunter. It's even unfair to the kid who got to be Link, because now you brought the weirdos out. And the weirdos only know how to attack, and fine, they're going to tantrum. They'll move on to the next shiny thing that no one cares about in about a week or so. But there's no reason that these people need to be under assault for X amount of time until the wackos find something better to not better to do, but find something else to glom onto and try to turn into a lifelong cause.
Beautiful point. Beautiful point. I know we got Culture back up in here. Before I give my take, Culture, what do you think of all this? Do you think Nintendo made the right move here? What's your 2 cents on all this?
Well, I'm going to back this all the way up and say there was no move to make. This person was never in serious consideration for this role. This was a power play by a community that's used to getting their way just by flashing around their rainbows. And it didn't work around this time. They are having more and more difficulty on these workarounds to try to put them and their agenda everywhere. And look, I mean, I get that. I mean, I want to have my face everywhere. So, I work very hard to promote myself and
I'll
do
put you
all
on
that.
a billboard, Culture. Give it time. I'll get your
go.
face everywhere. Don't worry.
But when you look at this, it was really just a play by her agency to try to get more play for her. It was never something that was considered. They were not going to do anything radical. Nintendo is not about that. They've been a family company for hundreds of years now. Most people don't realize Nintendo's been around forever. And
let's not mention the love hotels in there. Let's not mention that.
Yeah, it's fine. But like I said, their plan is to have the broadest appeal. And that is not the way to make the broadest appeal. And look, I mean, if everybody were to look at everything like that, well, a lot of the nonsense we've been dealing with for the last 15 years wouldn't even be occurring, because, Hollywood would be about profit. And if you're about profit, you can't possibly tilt towards something that's that radically different, that is so far outside the norm that it takes, a huge Herculean effort to get anybody to even think about it. And the only reason any of us thought about it is because it went pretty viral on social media. Outside of a few 100,000 people, this thing lived and died within a small area, and none of it really affected anything. So I never thought this was a real consideration. And despite the fact that, some people thought that could work, it didn't, and it wouldn't, and it wasn't even a consideration. So that's where I land on it. I don't know about anybody else.
No, I'm with
Fascinating.
you. Sorry.
Go ahead, Kevin.
Sorry, no. I was saying this was a non-story that just kind of, feeds some YouTube content, but this didn't crack any mainstream news. I don't even think it made, I just didn't see this anywhere other than on Twitter. And, we all know, or at least we should know, Twitter is not the real world.
Nope.
Hey, that's a very good point.
No, otherwise I would be as famous as Pedro Pascal. Okay?
You're more famous in my heart, Culture. More famous to me.
That's right. But,
if I can chime in here a bit, my perspective here. I have to say, if you look at the past, I'm going to bring it back to Batman again. I remember when... or at least I wasn't there, but I know there was a lot of backlash to Keaton's casting as Batman back in 1989. They knew him very well as being Adam West. Like, Mr. Mom's going to play Batman? Like, why in the world is going to happen? And there was outrage. There was news coverage. This was before, X existed, and Twitter, Facebook, all that people. People were sending in letters. There were segments. People were flipping outraged. But you know what? The reality was, at the end of the day, Michael Keaton still played Batman. There was pushback when Ben Affleck played Batman. At the end of the day, he still played it. Usually, public outcry on a casting decision usually goes nowhere. Unfortunately, it's like an echo chamber, for better or for worse. And the only time I can ever think of, like a fan backlash getting this kind of attention and being retroactively changed within a video game film was the Sonic the Hedgehog movie. And that was something they could do with CGI. I will say I got to give credit to her agency because it definitely seemed to get a buzz. But I think, I got to say, she definitely looks a lot like Zelda. I really don't think she ever stood a chance because the reality was Nintendo is not a company that tries to go for this sort of thing in this present day. I never know what the future holds, but I know that this is not something they're currently pursuing. And we also have to look at the truth of the box office here. There's been a lot of movies that have come out, as of more recent, that have tried to, appeal to these kinds of audiences who want to see this sort of thing. And reality is the box office numbers, as they currently are not showing up for this kind of casting. And with a Legend of Zelda movie being its first ever adaptation to where this could have a lot of brand impact, I just really don't think the folks over at Nintendo overseas want to take a chance on something like this that could cause a divide of the audience to where instead of looking forward to being like, oh, what's Princess Zelda Adventure is going to be, it's more about the actor, actress, whatever have you, than it is the story. And that's why I don't think Nintendo wants to go financially with this decision. And as we know, and I gotta give once again so much credit to Marvin Montanaro, this whole thing was a big nothing burger, and it seems like a lot of people on X still want to see this happen in some way, form. And maybe this person here, maybe they can combine some point in a fan project. It shows that there is some demand by some people. But as it stands, it seems Nintendo is just not interested in this sort of thing. And we'll have to see once we hit 2027 if Nintendo can hit the box office just like how they hope and hopefully get a big win on their hands. All right, to wrap up that story, culture. Seems like people in the chat have been weighing in a lot, so much like a scale, let's get this weighing on. Oh, you're muted, my good friend. Muted.
Okay, that was a great line I had. So we got some folks saying some great things I think I need to pay closer attention to. I think I got this one. Wish it was animated. Yes, I did. I think I got this one. Oh, no, I didn't. I did. Doge is apparently wishing Butterbiscuit good luck at court. That's insane. And then, of course, Butterbiscuit.
I still want to know what's going on with that.
Apparently nothing, but a Butterbiscuit for $5 more. This might get us close to a pizza that Kevin can eat. Derek's videos on Hunter shills were so funny. I bet DA does some great stuff. Love that guy. Those people.
To the DA.
That's right. We love the DA. Those people who are so loony and the blatant shilling, disgusting. They needed a hug, as Fillion said. Yes, I think they all needed a hug. So do I. I'm generally a person that needs a hug. So if you ever see me at a meetup, just say, hey, you ready for a hug? And I'll say, yes, and thank you. And to the rest of you, thank you all for being here. We appreciate you more than you could possibly know. Yeah, and there were some people that were seriously mad, Aaron. It was very odd. Look, to me, it didn't matter all that much. It would have just made a difference between positive performance and negative. And Nintendo was never going to do that because, again, they're a for-profit corporation, and it goes against, well, their family image. And some people, like to protect that. Not that it really would have not. I'm just saying, I think Hunter Schafer could play many different roles. I just don't think that Zelda was going to be one of them. And I never thought that from the beginning. And a lot of people just lost their minds over this on both sides. And I was like, well, let's be a little more measured because that was not going to happen. But you guys are on fire. McSpoon is out there saying, do I want a bear hug? Sure. I like bears. You guys know I like bears. You got your 6 Minute Daily every weekday. I'm always telling you about bears. Bears are cute.
Yes, and watch the 6 Minute Daily. Like, guys, that is must-see entertainment by Mr. Culture Casino. If you want to see more of his opinions, you got to see that thing. It's amazing.
I watch it.
And hey, look, Punts, I'm going to say it this way. I knew that Robert Downey Jr. was white, and he was the best black actor I've ever seen in Tropic Thunder. So there's that. Next to Denzel Washington, nobody beats Denzel Washington. I'm sorry, he's probably one of the top 3 greatest actors in the history of the world. So anyway, but yeah. So if you know somebody's a man in the role of a woman, we're going to have that in mind when we watch the film, and that's the problem. So look, films are only supposed to ask you for one thing: the big ask. The big ask in a film is the contrivance upon which all is wielded. It's the center of the wheel. It is where all the spokes attach. That's the basis, the core of the film, the big ask. The problem is when you start doing a lot of politics and things that are outside of the way it's built. No, it doesn't matter if it's a game, it doesn't matter if it's a movie, television show, that's how they're all built. You're asking for something big. If it's wrestling, you're asking you're being asked to believe in magic on this bouncy stage, which I love, and especially from a kid to now, I still love it. I'm a 50-year-old man, but when same thing happens in the theater, you're asked to believe this one thing, the big ask, that contrivance, and so you can't ask too many things, or all that it is built upon crumbles, it gets crushed, it breaks, the wheel falls off the wagon, whatever it is that you want to throw out there. And so you can only go so far. And I think that might have been a step too far, but not a step too far is one of our great regular watchers and wonderful humans, Kamachi for $2 worth of quarters, says Nintendo dodged a bullet there like Mario movie. Yeah, and I'm going to tell you right now, Mario movie I think was great. Did you guys love Mario movie? I loved Mario movie.
I saw the Mario movie like 2 or 3 times in the theater, dude. I wanted to see it another time, honestly. Like, I loved every moment of that film. I used to joke with my friends before it came out. I'm like, what do I do if I see the movie and then no point in life is ever as good as the Mario movie? I'm just going to be sad the rest of my life. But you know what? I don't have to be sad because they're making a second one. And I am hyped. We're going to see Yoshi, people. I'm getting Yoshi.
Yeah, well, yeah, and you're going to... There's supposedly a spinoff for Luigi, but I'm not going to tell you. So, anyway, but I'm very much looking forward to that. Look, just as much as I was looking forward to the second Sonic movie, I'm getting the live action realization of things that I enjoyed when I was younger. And we often don't get to re-experience childhood again. And one of the few places used to be in theme parks, like, for example, Disney. And I would say that a lot less nostalgia, not a lot less reason to go back, a lot less of your childhood may be awaiting you at Magic Kingdom. But that's not this channel, although we're affiliated. That Game Place talks about games nostalgically. Speaking of which, wow, man, we got a lot of folks out there. Great to see you. Thanks for being here. Lots of people are huge Zelda fans. So
Culture, good. I think we got a company that might be soon to be nostalgic if you catch what I'm putting down.
Oh, yes. Oh, they're not, okay. I often don't say the word terrible about a company. Well, now more frequently I say it because of Disney and others. But look, entertainment companies are trying to do something that's not entertaining. And yet the grand master of destroying entertainment has to be somebody else. And you know what, Nolan? Your instinct is right. It is
Ubisoft. That's right. It is the legend themselves. They will be a legend here soon enough, for better or worse. All right, this comes from That Park Place once again by the wonderful, wonderful Marvin Montanaro. And the headline states, Ubisoft CEO, Yves, y'all help me here. Yves, is that how you say the name?
Yves Guillemot.
Yves Guillemot. Oh, I like it. Oui, oui.
You know what? First of all, as an American, to an American ear, that's funny. Oui. Yes, all over the place, apparently. Anyway, keep going.
Ubisoft CEO Yves Guillemot makes his son head of new Tencent subsidiary after family's mismanagement and his own business flops as gaming world cries nepotism. All right, let's get into this thing. Starting out, in what many are calling a brazen display of nepotism that has left the gaming world fuming. Ubisoft CEO Gaumont, whose family has helmed the company's catastrophic decline, has installed his son, Charlie Gaumont, as co-CEO of a newly spun-off subsidiary. Yes, I know, I'm bad at French culture. I took it in school. I was terrible.
Guimont. Yeah, pretend the L's are not there, and you just put more like in your mouth, like you have a stick of butter. Put the stick of butter in the back of your throat. Guimont.
As co-CEO of a newly spun-off subsidiary controlling the publisher's crown jewel IPs. Announced on July 16, 2025, just as Ubisoft grapples with financial ruins, the movie hands Charlie oversight of blockbuster franchises like Assassin's Creed, Far Cry, and Tom Clancy's Rainbow Six, despite his track record of failed ventures into the volatile NFT space. Oh boy.
Yes. I'm going to sell you fake digital thing for your actual money, and you will have fake digital thing that'll be worth exactly nothing because it's fake. My goodness.
I can't help. It was so tempting for the thumbnail this week to just make an NFT with Donkey Kong on it as like the monkey, you know what I mean? Like, if anyone remembers that meme for a while back. But no, continuing on to our story. Disappointment amid whispers of "Come on!" Dynasty's iron grip on sinking ship has ignited accusations of favoritism, with ex-users mocking it as epitome of Nepo baby entitlement in an industry feeling from Ubisoft's self-inflicted wounds. And I'm feeling wounded after this story, and I think I need to go back to I don't say English class, but Kevin, you had a take here?
I've never been one to shame someone for being a part of the Lucky Swimmers Club, but this family seems to be intent on just keeping failure in the bloodline. So they tanked one company, they got lucky, and now we can now it's going to be epic failure the next generation. Well, they clearly don't know how to handle games. They don't know what to do with their IPs. They're clearly out of their mind. So the only thing I see coming is the son failed at selling people fake things for money. Now they're just going to sell you, digital games for too much money. So it's Ubisoft. I'm sure that even if someone came along and said, "Here is the secret to health, wealth, and life," they would find a way to botch it.
I think that is a beautiful take, my good friend. Yeah, I mean, you never really know, like, whether it's, DNA relative, like going back to the days of the kings and the queens, like were you born into the family, the mighty throne of Ubisoft, which these days might be more of a fold-out chair. Let's be real here. But or are you someone who comes in with a resume ahead of you, and is it something that's just overly bloated, or is it something that's been earned? I think any move Ubisoft makes right now seems like it's going to have criticisms by how lackluster their decisions are made. But man, this dude having the whole NFT debacle going on against him,
scam,
yeah, that don't help at all. And I gotta say, Ubisoft, you're trying to chase some better headlines. I mean, I feel like he's being a good father here, looking out for his son, for the company's sake, man, Ubisoft, it's not even like EA, you guys know, where, I just look at them and I see, oh, they're evil, they're so greedy. I see Ubisoft like Homer Simpson. I'm like, what are they going to do this week that is just going to make the memes a rolling? Culture, what's your thoughts on all this?
Yeah, you said something that I might push back on and say, whatever Ubisoft does is the wrong thing. I don't care what they do. They hire this kid, this Nepo baby, sure. It's going to be wrong. Anything they do at this point, they get away from their own game engine. That was wrong. They keep moving away from the stuff that used to make them different and better, and all of those moves are wrong. And I feel like that's just kind of the world we live in. Ubisoft is a company that is a ghost of its former self, so much so that it went to go buy a new house to haunt and or build a new house to haunt. And now they're bringing all of the ghosts with them to that house, which they didn't want to do. This is not going to work out well for them. And bringing this kid in that's a disaster, because now you're inviting a blend of disasters into two different entities now.
Yep.
That's bad.
Yep. Do you think this was a power play to make sure that to keep all the decision making in the family?
No, absolutely. I mean, okay, so if you look at how the way the brothers work, they destroyed their company through DEI and all of the kowtowing they did to all of the ladies within the company, because they were being brought up on harassment charges constantly and consistently. And it's not just one of the brothers; it's like three of them, and they just allowed their company to be destroyed, dismantled by a brand new, let's say, very aggressive version of HR. And that's been happening in corporate America forever, but Ubisoft should have seen this coming. They're French. They are always going to, make inappropriate statements and grabs and actions with ladies. They're French. That's what they do. So, I mean, this Gerard Depardieu keeps finding himself on the wrong side of the courtroom in France. Of course, so is Macron, if anybody were ever paying attention, but that would be with dudes. Anyway, regardless, it's just this is where we're at. So the question is, am I surprised? No, but what I'm surprised at is people are still wanting to put money there. The only reason that is the case is because China wants to pull these IPs out of the company, and you know what? They don't mind a little philandering and filthiness and, well, giving your kids money they don't deserve, because graft is a way of life in China. So I have a feeling that, that's where we're going to end up. But yeah. So for, the low level thoughts that I just had, just ignore me. I don't know anything.
Hey, everyone's voice and opinion deserves some recognition here. And I don't believe Culture's got low level. I think he's very high level, and I still want to put that billboard to your face somewhere. I'm still on that, by the way.
You know what? Hey, look, Alaska is probably cheap. We got cheap ad rates up there.
Ooh, yeah, nice. Okay, all right. If anyone wants to stream in Alaska, hit me up, homies. If I could bring this back to Charlie though for a minute here to kind of close this out.
Yeah.
Charlie, who will co-lead alongside Ubisoft's North American Managing Director Christophe Dorenis, brushed off on Ubisoft's nepotism concerns with a tone-deaf quip. What matters now isn't my name, it's the work ahead. Well, personal opinion here, I hope he's right, because Ubisoft, I feel like the times I've heard good things said about Ubisoft compared to critical things on Ubisoft has been very one-sided. I don't think it's really in Ubisoft's favors. Continuing off that point, critics weren't buying it, with one Reddit post retorting, "That's what all Nepo babies say," as outrage swelled over the Gamal family apparent refusal to loosen their hold despite overseeing years of flops, delays, and financial hemorrhaging. And, if I could just bring everything back here to close this out, there's going to be a lot of debate, on should his son be involved with this? Is he qualified and all that? I think at the end of the day, the reality is, logically speaking, even if we're all excluding our own personal opinions, everyone on the panel and in the chat and, throughout the country, Ubisoft is not in a great place. And the reality is that a lot of decisions they are making have consistently produced flop after controversy, after criticism. They are not on a good direction. And just seeing someone appoint his son, who's already been involved with this NFT bogus going on, it's the canary in the coal mine. And where there's smoke, there's fire. And I don't like saying that Ubisoft is about looking like a dumpster fire, but the reality is the sales figures don't lie. And unless they make a major course correction, which I honestly don't think they're going to, they could be in for a very, very rocky boat out at sea. And I don't know if they're going to make their way out of it. Maybe, you know what, the Twilight Hour, they'll prove me wrong. But I'm going to be very curious to see what Ubisoft has coming out, because, my goodness, I would like to see them make a positive headline, because I cannot remember a good headline about them over the past 2 years. So, only time will tell. Kevin, any closing thoughts before we wrap this thing?
Yeah, I mean, the problem isn't that, that the company got handed over to the Sun. Lots of companies do that. It's the fact that the Sun doesn't have a lick of success to his name, and this company is, it's on the balls of its rear end right now, and it needs all the help it can get. This should have been for them a historic moment for change. You should have gone in a bold new direction, bold new leadership, someone with a winning record, and so instead they chose to double down on failure. So let's just watch the Titanic sink and make some fun YouTube content about it.
And my heart will go on. Oh wait, I don't think it's time to sing that just yet. Anyways, so
speaking of going on, a debate in the chat is going on, and I hope it stops soon. Not because I'm trying to quash your personal expression of your thoughts around it. I just want everybody to just get along. I don't like bricks being smashed against truckers' heads. You shouldn't either. So stop doing it.
Exactly. And let's remember, everyone, we have enough bricked Nintendo Switch 2 system. We don't need more bricks. We have enough. Yep. Good night, everybody. Welcome to that game place. All right.
That's right.
Culture. Any chat we need to highlight here? Or we gotta go ahead and move on to the next
story? Just one more time to acknowledge that Kamchi came in for $2 telling us, we did dodge a bullet with the Nintendo Mario Brothers movie. And of course, Butterbiscuit 92, I'm worried about the next Sonic. Stinking Amy. Well,
hey, why we putting down like the best Sonic character next to Shadow Butterbiscuit? What are you doing here, my homie? You would never downplay Amy Rose, would you? I don't think that'd be happening.
Well, look, the 90 minutes of the original film was glorious. Illumination did a spectacular job, and now we just want an excellent follow-up. Will we get Amy?
I think it's coming. I think it's definitely coming. I mean, we saw her at the end of the Sonic 3 trailer, film, the post-credit scene. I don't think that's a spoiler at this point. If you haven't seen it, I mean, you've been living under a Chaos Emerald. But I think, you know what, Butterbiscuit, we'll settle this like gentlemen, Smash Brothers tournament, Mortal Kombat. Actually, Mortal Kombat. Let's go for some Mortal Kombat. You know what? I call Sub-Zero, and, we'll settle this like true men. And speaking of being true men, Culture, I think true men would like to get on to the next story. Wouldn't you agree?
I would agree, but I have one more super chat for you. It's from Doge.
Oh, wonderful.
That's
Thank
right.
you,
It's from
Doge.
Doge for $5. And you'll find woke Nintendo fans in sites like Tumblr, DeviantArt, Blue Sky. Well, Blue Sky is a corrupt piece of garbage. But they're a vocal minority. The Nintendo fandom has conservatives too. I would say that the vast majority of people that love Nintendo love family, and they share Nintendo with their family. And look, there's this fella that lets you know that he's always there. Shigeru Miyamoto. Say it, Nolan, because you know.
Shigeru Miyamoto-san.
That's right. That's right. Yeah. See,
you got the French. I got the Japanese.
I can say the Japanese too, but I wanted to show off your skills. Speaking of skills, at least Nintendo is not the one dropping the new wonderful, well, what used to be a wonderful game on us, Ghost of Yotai.
I love your delivery. If I can say a bit on that, Super, I want to say thank you again for all the support. And I think that's part of the beauty of Nintendo, them staying so far out of politics over the years seems like it's done a lot of favor. You got a lot of conservatives, liberal, moderates, like there's very broad spectrum. And I think that's why a lot of these topics get so much debate. And I think the biggest thing to remember, especially for everyone chat on X, remember, at the end of the day, you're speaking to a human most of the time, not the developer.
Ooh.
And you get just remember, let's keep it tame, and try to keep the pace as much as possible and enjoy. Keep most of the chaos for Mario Kart, because if you want to go crazy on that, I don't blame you there, because that thing's cheap.
All right, now here we go. We have one more story. All right,
2 more.
Oh, okay, well let's go. Where are they?
All right,
show me this.
Let's rock on into this.
Show
thing.
me send the flow. Okay.
Oh, sorry, I thought I was already showing. So here, keep the people waiting long enough. Kevin, you hyped? You hyped, Kevin?
I'm hyped, brother.
Show me paint a fence. Okay, there's the fence.
Coming out of Polygon by Austin Manchester. The staple Nintendo Switch 2 saga has come to a $250,000 end, with all proceeds going to charity and not GameStop. Okay, what charity? I'm happy to hear about this. Let's hear what Austin has to say on this crazy, crazy saga. Console launches are chaotic endeavors. I should know. I went to one, actually, and when I went to the GameStop release, one of the dudes hit the car of the girlfriend of the manager at my GameStop. So, and the crowd was also cheering on a garbage man for his awesome driving skills that night. It was a very weird night, people. But continuing on from our chaotic endeavors, the Nintendo Switch 2's launch was exactly that, right up to surprise snacks appearing alongside some new Switches. Chaos was most prevalent, perhaps at a GameStop in New York City, specifically Staten Island, where dozens of consoles were ruined by staples that pierced the screens. The story goes that employees stapled purchase receipts to the boxes, and customers that then learned how poorly protected their new Switch 2s were. Inside their boxes, the staples pierce right through and into their consoles screens. Yeah, so here's a demonstration right here. Here's a Nintendo Switch 2. I saw some of the images online. There was like cracks in it. You could have like a staple. It was mucho no bueno. Like, yeah, I hope they got a refund for those things, or maybe they kept them like for value's sake, maybe. They were able to swap their consoles out for fresh, upscaled units, but the PR hit to GameStop had already been done. I think that was done a long time ago. To turn perception around, GameStop announced a charity auction on July 9th. Well, perhaps to them. I have to say, I respect that. It would be auctioning off the Staplegate stapler the employee used in a moment of launch night excitement and misjudged enthusiasm. According to the eBay listing, up for auction alongside it was the first stapled Switch 2 in its box, and the staple that punched it. All proceeds from the winning bid will go to Children's Miracle Network Hospital. The auction came to an end on July 16th after 282 bids. As for the winning number, a clean $250,000, only a wee bit more than the console's $450 price tag. For now. All right, let's bring it on here. Kevin! Was it you? Did you buy this Switch 2? I know you've been meaning to get one, and I know possibility.
I didn't have the enthusiasm for it. There wasn't much that called to me. The price point is monstrous, and I'm someone who slept outside of a Target to get their Wii. So, I'm willing to get down and get dirty when I want something. I'll get it in all the time, and I know that since the loss of Mr. Iwata, I'm not expecting any kind of a price reduction anytime soon. So it's just going to be a waiting game. But this is crazy. As someone who used to work in retail, you kind of should have known better. Like the second you pull these out of the box, someone's going to go, "Hey, this is kind of flimsy. Be careful." And just hand someone their freaking receipt. Or say, "I'm going to email it to you. It's 2025. Stop it. Stop burning that."
What about you, Culture? Do you think this was intentional? Staplegate? Was it an inside operation?
Well, I mean, the staples made it inside. That's not good. But look, I mean, sometimes, you don't anticipate that your little stapler is going to make it through like packaging. I mean, I wouldn't have. I mean, like our stuff used to be wrapped up in styrofoam and separated from the edge of the box by like 700 miles. Like you'd bring in something that looked like a Dell word processor, and you'd find your little tiny Game Boy Advanced in the center of all that, and it was very well protected. This is poor packaging more than it is like staple gate. Look, I do want to say that a $250,000 end to the radical awesome stapler that destroyed much enjoyment for people. Ultimately at the end of the day, it was fine. It was fine, and it's kind of a fun story to tell, and the fact that it generated revenue for charity, that's even a better story. So to me. If it was a Nintendo Switch 2 shaped stapler, that would have been better. But that's just me.
Hey, you never know. Etsy exists, give it time. We might be seeing it. To wrap up this story here, well, the incident itself was unfortunate. We hope its legacy serves a greater purpose, reads the eBay description. And the $250K will certainly serve a greater purpose in helping out Children's Miracle Network hospitals. GameStop hasn't yet announced its plans to match the winning big charitable donation. The company is conceivably sitting on plenty more stapled Switch 2 consoles, so time will tell if it decides to hold another Staplegate charity auction. However, GameStop CEO Ryan Cohen couldn't help but make a wholesome situation weird. After announcing the auction, Cohen said, "If it reaches 6 figures, I will include my underwear," in a post on X. Is it Switch 2 themed? That I don't know, but only time will tell. And I'll tell you, if it is, we'll be here to cover it on That Game Place.
All right, something else. My goodness.
Maybe you're right on that. But culture, I think we should cover those wonderful people in the chat. I think they got some fun things to say.
Well, let's take a look. I see we've got some people saying MK2 film actually looks good. Okay, good. I've had some people say that.
Talk about that.
I've had some people say that. I have some people say not so much. But hey, everybody's going to have an opine. Let's see. Who else is out there? Crunts Punts wants us to do the thumbs up thing. I think everybody should do that. And let's see who else is out there in the world. Lots of things. We had other people roll through. People are laughing. Somebody said something funny. Probably not me. Let's see who else is out there. Sometimes I leave for 2 minutes, come back, and read the chat, and I'm utterly confused. Yes. Yes. Sometimes I'm here reading it, and I'm utterly confused. So it's fine. It's fine. Lauren Connor loves
gamer chat, everybody.
That's right. Lauren Connor loves himself his Steam Deck and the potential of Steam OS. Lots of people love it as long as it doesn't, lock you down to your core processor. And the Wild Man of Yavin for $5 worth of quarters. We can now almost officially buy Kevin his own pizza. We'll get whatever pizza's left over, which won't be much. We'll have to get another pizza. But anyway, says, whoa, That Game Place is still around. Hi. I'm
Hello, welcome back.
That's Nolan. That's Kevin. Kevin is Kevin steals all the pizza. Anyway, That Game Place is still around. Yes. Evening all. Hail chat. Hail CC. Good to see you. Nolan Thunder and Kevin Apollo. By the way, Kevin Apollo and the guy with the hat that's in the chat are going to have a show. Yeah, it'll be fun. It'll be a late night show, unlike any late night show you've seen in a long time, because they're terrible. I mean, they just fired that guy. What's that guy's name?
Sherbet.
Yeah, Sherbet. Yeah, the Sherbet guy. They fired the Sherbet guy.
He's not French. I can probably say his name correctly. I promise you that.
Steven Sherbert. Yeah, and they got that. There's like 2 Jimmys that they're about to get rid of, plus the guy John I was talking about the other day. So I have a feeling that these guys are going to replace them and do it cheaper. Well, I mean, I promise you, Kevin Apollo and Lauren Connor cost less than $100 million a year because we don't have that kind of budget. Anyway, let's see what else do we have out there. We got Tron Ares conversations. I got to tell you, Tron's still one of the great stand-up arcade games. Plus, it was a lot of fun in its various forms on consoles and such. So there's that. Sans is in the house. Look at all these beings are here.
In the house.
That's right. Dilbert. How about Cubert? I like Cubert. I mean, everybody, I think, probably like Cubert. Bad News Badger with some Danish Corona. That's
Ooh,
fitty.
Badger. Good to see ya.
Fitty Danish Corona. Says, and that is the statement you can staple your receipt into. That's right. Yeah, it's true. Yeah.
Thank you, Badger. Also, we got one more super.
I got it from SFXF 314 Sabertooth Raptor for $5 more. Okay, look, at this point now, because of all your generosity, both Nolan and I can have a breadstick. That'll be good. All right,
singular breadstick.
That's true.
Singular.
Well,
this is what you do to us, Kevin. This is how you hurt us.
Yes. We're getting stuffed. We're getting stuffed breadsticks. So don't whine too much. There's cheese in there. But,
when I was a kid, there's a Little Caesar by me, which was funny if it was right next to an actual pizza place in the same shopping center. And I just remember walking one day. There's an old guy going, "I want my cheesy bread."
Yes.
Where's my cheesy bread?
Yes.
I finally
I understand that comment. And I understand a lot, but there's a lot out there. The Tron Legacy's soundtrack is incredible, but this new one, Chris Dickerson, not bad. You could have done much worse. It sounds very good. Very excited. Wait, did CC just say? Just saying. KA is stuffing him. No. Cheesy bread. Yeah, like breadsticks, like stuffed. You ever had cheese stuffed breadsticks? They're amazing. Speaking of amazing things, we got another story. Nolan. Introductory.
We still got to read SFX Sabers super chat. We had it on screen. We haven't read it yet.
Oh, my bad.
That's good. I got something to say on this one.
If they do Metroid movie, which actress would you prefer to have? Well, I'm gonna let
calling.
I'm gonna let
my calling
Nolan,
in life.
I'm gonna let Nolan say it first because he's very excited.
All right, I take off my hat as a gentleman right here, just to let you all know. The wonderful Miss Sydney Sweeney. She would be a fantastic choice as Samus in a Metroid movie. Realistically speaking, she fits the bill of like what Nintendo fans would expect to see. Iconic. She's a great actress. And actually just today, something popped up on I think it was my YouTube feed or Instagram, whatever. And it was the OG Metroid Prime commercial from like '02. It was a live action one they did, and it was super dark and bleak and had practical effects but blended with CGI. It was amazing. And they've talked about Metroid movie for a long time. If they were going to go this route, I think she'd be the perfect choice, perfect time, and I think there's a way to do it. And Metroid's already been kind of a series that's already been a little bit older of a Nintendo fan base there, and I think it's going to make a lot of people happy. And hey, maybe she could be this generation's Princess Leia in Return of the Jedi. Who knows? But I think there's a lot of potential that would make a lot of fans happy. And hey, what do you think, gentlemen? Do you have any dream actresses you'd like to see in Metroid?
Kevin, you're first.
I really can't think of any, but I think Sydney Sweeney would be just fine, especially when she gets suited up.
See, and I'm surprised all of you weren't more progressive in your thinking in mentioning Hunter Schafer.
Oh, no.
Anyway, no, of course, that was a joke. It's a joke. Everybody dial it back. No, I actually, what's funny is Nolan was in my same line of thinking. I think Sydney Sweeney is the perfect physical structure for Samus. And I think that there are maybe one or two other actresses. What you can't do is cast somebody that looks like an ironing board, like Zendaya, or anybody else, because that's the kind of thing that they would like to try to do. You have to have people built like Samus, and there are not lots of people built like Samus in Hollywood because they prefer the ocular hypertelorism look where their eyes are trying to separate from their head and go full on bubble goldfish. And they're also trying to find ladies who look like 15-year-old non-athletic boys that are malnourished. And that's the other problem.
If I could say one more thing on the super chat too, it's also very rare that you get, the look of Samus, but competent actor. And let's not pretend, Metroid Other End happened. The acting level for Samus, or what you expect to see from characterization, the bar's kind of low right now. So maybe this could be like the biggest role ever for her. Who knows? I guess it comes down to Miyamoto and company at the end of the day.
And I think that they definitely have a good head on their shoulders, but there are some other actresses out there that are built similarly that probably would do a competent job. The thing is I mean, Sydney Sweeney's got a lot of roles coming up. She's going to be a lead, or at least a producer, perhaps even a lead in the Outrun movie, which is another video game franchise. And she's got about 5 or 6 other roles lined up. I'm also familiar with what her production company is doing behind the scenes. So she's busy. She's got another horror film coming soon that isn't even out there yet. Sorry, can't tell you that. But a lot of things out there going on. Yeah. Look, I can't say. That is one of those times I just can't say. I shouldn't have said anything in the first place. But yeah, I'm looking forward to what Sydney Sweeney has coming over the next 5 years. I'm also looking forward to what video game films are actually going to find the screens in 5 years. And Definitely. There are many. So
yeah, and the thing is, the good news is we'll be here to cover it.
Actually, Butterbiscuit, a swing and a miss saying, let me see if I can find it. There it is. Katie Sackhoff could be a good Samus. Not a lie. That could definitely work. I would like some Starbuck on my Samus. I'd be okay with that. A little Starbuck.
It's a little prettier. I would like my Samus a little prettier.
Okay, but like rough and tumble, dude. Have you seen her? She still looks like a space marine. She is. That is a woman dedicated to taking care of themselves.
That's part of the beauty of all this. Sorry if I stepped on their culture, but I think that's part of the beauty of all this is Nintendo is in a very, very good spot right now with these film adaptations as they're adapting IP that people like. Some of these, like let's look at Marvel Studios. They announced all these big actors for Avengers, and still seems like the public consensus is okay. Whereas Nintendo, there's hype for Metroid, Zelda. They want to know, are they going to be true to the form? And I think we're living in an exciting time right now to be covering this new movie news. Wouldn't you guys agree?
Indeed. Yeah. And here's the weird thing. So I'm in this film group, which has Hollywood producers in it and stuff. And everybody's just rattling ideas all the time. One of them was Firefox. Could you guys see Firefox in the future as a film?
Wow. I'd have to research it a bit more. It's a deep cut. What do you think, Kevin?
It was a pretty interesting conversation, I'll say.
I'm all for it.
Yeah, it's an interesting idea to reach all the way back into the 80s for, something like that. But you have to realize that there's lore there. There's a background story. There's a conversation. It's pretty wild. So anyway,
that'll be the derail. But there's so much stuff out that's just floating around out there that hasn't been touched. Like from old school Atari, I'm even talking like all the way to Ruby Spears cartoons. There's just so much floating around that's just been ignored. That I think
Vector Man,
the thought to it, you'd have banger movies that are virtually impossible to mess up. But it's Hollywood, so that they try, but they have to try extra hard. We know they don't like to do that.
Oh, wait a minute. No, somebody just popped in. They're right. It's not Firefox. It's Star Fox. Thank you.
Star Fox.
Yeah.
Star Fox. Okay. I can answer that one. Okay.
My bad.
I was like,
my bad.
The web browser?
No. Oh no, there was actually a Firefox video game as well, but no, Star Fox is the title that I was talking about that they were talking about. Well, it was in the Nintendo 64. So come on now.
I you know what? The second I hear do a barrel roll in the trailer, I'm sold.
Can't let you do that stuff.
Sorry. I'm old and brain doesn't work the best. But that was actually a legitimate conversation. So, and these are people who have made films. So it's like they're talking about this now, about what are viable game properties, just so you know. So
well, I can only hope that the future is bright for good old Star Fox and Firefox as well. The browser, I hope, has a good one. I kid, Culture. I kid. But my friend, are you ready to... I think we got some big video game movie news, if you catch what I'm saying here. And I think we need to tell the people about this, wouldn't you say?
All right. Well, hey, the beautiful people, this one's for you.
Yes. All right. This one's coming out from IGN. This is coming from the good old fella himself, Jim Vejvoda. I hope it's not French, because like I said, I can't pronounce French these days. Okay, the title reads, Mortal Kombat 2 trailer showcases Carl Urban's down on his luck journey. I'm just going to start from the beginning. Mortal Kombat 2 trailer showcases Carl Urban's down on his luck Johnny Cage. He has no self-confidence. Get over here! Alright. IGN is excited to share with you the brand new trailer for Mortal Kombat 2, which you can watch via the player embedded below. The trailer debuted during a live stream Thursday morning between IGN, Warner Brothers Pictures, and IMAX. Ahead of the trailer's global online debut, it was able to chat exclusively with actor Carl Urban, who brings the iconic Johnny Cage to the life in Mortal Kombat 2, as well as director Simon McQuoid and producer Todd Garner in their first extensive interviews about the highly anticipated sequel. The 2021 reboot of Mortal Kombat, also directed by McQuoid, was released simultaneously in theaters and on HBO Max during the shutdowns, where it became the streamer's most successful movie launch ever. Okay, gentlemen, I recall seeing Mortal Kombat 2 with my cousin a few years ago, and we were the only ones in the theater. Did you guys ever see this movie?
The Mortal Kombat 2 movie?
The first one.
Oh, dude, come on. How old was I? I was 12, right? Maybe 11. So having survived the horror that was the Mario Brothers movie, seeing the trailer for Mortal Kombat, I was a little leery, and then it was freaking incredible. That I don't care what anybody says, that it's very much so product of its time. But that Mortal Kombat movie is incredible. As a matter of fact, when I watched the new Mortal Kombat, I was so disappointed. I immediately put on old Mortal Kombat to wash the taste away.
Oh, that's like Power Rangers 2017 bad. No.
Now, Mortal Kombat Annihilation, I was older. I was super excited for it. I was working in a movie theater. Drove from one side of town to the other because we were part of a small franchise. And let me tell you, I was profoundly disappointed.
Oh, man. Even at that age, like, you think there'd still be some youthfulness being carried over, my man. You saw Phantom Menace, like, what, 100 times at the theater?
Yeah, I was 17 and learned what it was to exist in a world without hope.
Oh, man. Yeah, no, that first movie in, what was it, 2021. Culture, did you ever see the 2021 Mortal Kombat movie?
Yes, I talked about it with Tom Connors of Midnight's Edge for many hours, in fact. We both went and saw it at a preview to make sure we had information so that we could talk about it and review it.
What were your thoughts on it?
I thought it was intriguing. I enjoyed some of the visuals. There were elements in there that I didn't think they'd been able to do before very well, that they were able to do decently. I felt like they left a lot on the table, visually speaking, even with all of that advancement. And I think the story left something to be desired. But they'd been saying they were bringing forward a second film. I'd been waiting on it. I had very little expectation because, well, they've been screwing up a lot of these films lately. So I don't think, especially if you look at what they're doing with Street Fighter, I don't think they're going to be able to pull that off. So I had very little hope for this. But based on the trailer, it's not the worst thing I've ever seen.
Yeah, we'll get into that trailer a bit here, but I was honestly shocked that it even got greenlit for a sequel because I thought the first film had done that well, at least from like my perspective. I thought this was going to be like the Tomb Raider sequel they've been talking about for years that's just never materialized over at Amazon. In fact, there was a quote here that I think kind of brings some more light to this about how when we made the first movie, Warner Brothers didn't know how people were going to react. They didn't know. We didn't have a huge budget to do whatever we wanted to do, Garner recalled. We certainly couldn't compete with the huge superhero movies by any stretch of the imagination. So we were limited by the scale and scope of that movie because they didn't really know what they had. The fact that the movie did so well on HBO Max, and that's not a phrase you hear very often. Obviously now that we have Mike DeLuca at Warner Brothers and Pam Abdi, they really knew not only what they had from the numbers from HBO Max, but they also knew Mike knew because he had such a fondness for the series. They gave us more scale, more scope to the fights, more fighting, which is expensive, quite frankly. DeLuca should be noted, was a young executive at New Line Cinema in the 1990s, where the original Mortal Kombat movie was produced. Now, unfortunately, we can't show the trailer here. I don't want to test those waters because studios like Warner Brothers can be very stingy when it comes to showing off trailers. But I would like to bring a few screenshots here to just kind of get you guys' general reaction to the trailer. And actually, instead, we got Paul Rudd. So as we get those screen caps here going, Kevin, what did you think of this new trailer? I know you're hot off the heels of seeing it for the first time. Give us your thoughts on it, buddy.
Yeah, what I saw, at first I was disappointed that Johnny Cage wasn't The Miz. But then Carl Urban, I thought, was kind of inspired casting. And they went with it. They took it in the direction that we've never really seen from Johnny Cage. So that's kind of interesting. Like this kind of downtrodden, lacking confidence, grizzled vet actor. I'm looking forward to kind of seeing what they're going to do with it. I hope this movie gives a little more Liu Kang. But also I hope they don't drop the Cole character either. He spent so much time on him in the last movie. Just don't do that thing where you realize you made a boo boo and drop the character altogether because it was a little intriguing. But the trailers, even the fake trailers, the fake trailers for Johnny Cage, this trailer was really cool. I'm glad we finally worked in the Get Over Here, the Mortal Kombat yell. I don't know how I feel about this movie because I get it. Like, yes, and I meant to say before too, it did extremely well on Max. We were in that weird beer bug era where it was same day release, that bizarre strategy. And it did okay in theaters. Okay, at the time. And it did really well on Max. So they announced a sequel to this right away, if I remember properly. But listen, it looks like fun. It looks like it's going to be better than the first one. So I'm willing to give it a chance. I'm really willing to give it a chance and hope it delivers.
Beautifully said. Beautifully said. Culture, what do you think about this trailer?
Liu King wins. No, I thought it was fine. Again, the visuals are right. It bleeds over from the film that, obviously Kevin was describing. I liked some of the special effects in it. I thought were brilliantly done with the smoke freezing and everything else. And, like all of these are gods. They're competing for the fate of the world. It's kind of an interesting storyline. I think there's a chance this will be great. There is going to be a significant amount of girl power on display, which, is right in line with the game itself. So we're going to hear a lot of complaints about that, which are without merit because of the game series itself. The storyline's good. I like that they went back to Luke Cage, but or Johnny Cage. I would have preferred Luke Cage. That's a great comic book crossover right there. I would have been better, but no, Johnny Cage is very good in this. The swapping out. I think the last character was Cole, if I don't remember. I think that was right. So again, I mean, I look at it and I go, there is something here, but it's going to have to be something special because the last film got a passing grade because people could watch it on streaming almost immediately. This is not that. So this better be good, but at least the visuals are right. And believe it or not, there's a lot to that, especially if you're whether you're an arcade fighter or you're somebody who, played it on cartridge console or on, PC. This looks like there's something here for you. So that's all I care about for something like this.
I think that's beautifully said. For the perspective of retrospective, being several years removed from the first Mortal Kombat movie, at least, the first as far as the reboots go, I will say it does seem like this one's looking a little bit more cheesy than the last one to me. Not saying the last one wasn't cheesy by any stretch, but I think they're trying to lean a bit more into that kind of crazy fun of the games. That stuff's starting to become a little bit more acceptable right now, especially with the low bar that, like, say, their superhero competitors, have been putting out right now. Maybe it's okay to be a little bit cheesy, but play it a little bit straight. I will say that I kind of wish they would go. I mean, we got full-on rated R movie here. I wish they'd go a bit more all out, I wish the costumes were a little more crazy for the men and the women in this movie, like it's supposed to be wild, like looking like they're out of like crazy magazines or something. I know it might not always be the most practical thing, but I feel like that's part of the appeal of Mortal Kombat. The effects, I'm a little mixed on. Sometimes it looks really good, and other times, like when they slice that one dude in half, I think that looked on par with an Uwe Boll movie from like the early 2000s. That looked awful. I'm sorry. But I think that the casting, I'm still up in the air on. I'm a little more excited for Street Fighter, which is ironic because I tend to like Mortal Kombat more between the two. Personal preference, they're both pretty good. I am a little bit cautious about this one, but I think at the end of the day, it'll be a solid C+, B- movie. I think video game movies are starting to go in a better direction, thanks to the success of Sonic and Mario, and hopefully eventually Legend of Zelda, if everything goes to plan, it looks as good as its casting is. But I want to see something a little more wild here personally. But hey, maybe I'll be wrong, and maybe this will be one of the better video game movies. That only time will tell. Gentlemen, any closing thoughts before we wrap on this topic?
Johnny Cage wins. No, I'm very much look. I'm very
your might.
Yeah, I'm very simple on this. Flawless victory. I'm very excited. With all the lean backs to the past, I always enjoy that. But I will say this: my expectations are tempered now, and they are going to be going forward. This has to be good or there's no point in making more. And as somebody said in the chat, and I agree, Jade does not look right. But I don't need to get into that until we get a better trailer because there's not enough context. So,
yeah.
I blame Kevin Apollo. So there's that.
I was a little, it looks like we're leaning into some of the Mortal Kombat 1, the new one, costuming, which, that game would have done better if they had a stake path instead of, doing what it did. But I don't know. I still don't really know how I feel about this movie. It looks like it's going to be fun at the very least. It looks like kind of what, the visuals are cool. As long as the fights are good and, it's, I don't know. I was super into, as confusing and convoluted as the story got, the stories from the original game. I thought there was a lot of lore there that you could pull from it and make a nice little film series out of. But they chose to go their own way, and I don't think that's necessarily always a bad thing. So I don't know. I'm willing to see what they got, and again, hopefully they deliver because, like Culture said, you don't have the get out of jail free card that was. It's immediately dumping on streaming at a time when no one could do anything other than watch streaming. So
Yeah, this is one of those where it does have to do good out of the gate, just like Superman. So, and Superman suffered from a lack of international audience. I don't even know what the international audience for this will look like, because we didn't get a good gauge from the last film, because again, it went right to streaming. So anyway, Nolan, your thoughts?
Oh yeah, no. Well, to put a bow on this thing, I think only time will tell. I don't think either of these films are going to be the tried and true Mortal Kombat movie I want to see for a long time. But hey, I think it'll be decent. It's hard to really get upset at it, because I think there's a lot of good things around it coming. And even if we get a B tier, a video game adaptation, the bar is really low. So I mean, I think this can coexist with some hopefully better movies coming out. And I don't know, maybe I'll be pleasantly surprised. They might surprise me. And hey, as long as we get those sweet quotes and I hear someone yelling Mortal Kombat, I might be a happy man. We'll see. We'll give it time. But I think if we're talking about time here, I think it's time to feature some of our beautiful people in the chat before we wrap, and we'll plug our stuff.
Sounds great. Let's take a look at the Wild Man of Yavin saying Lord Connor for Samus. I think he lacks the equipment, or he's lacking the minerals, bruh. Anyway, and but he must pronounce his name as Seamus. Oh, Highlander too. Okay, that sounds better.
It'll happen one day.
It better. I'm kind of mad about that. Speaking of mad about that, Wild Yavin dropped another $5.
Thank you, Wild Man.
So now we can have a full pack of breadsticks. We're working on a personal pan pizza now. Says
no.
5. What?
Are we going to Little Caesars or Pizza Hut for this? Like, what budget we looking at?
We got to feed this guy.
Okay, we're going Little Caesars. Sorry, Kevin. We're going to have to go with that.
Well, that's
I turned 40, and pizza just, if I eat too much of it, it does things to me. So, I'm
okay.
Oh no, Kevin, no!
I don't want to do a whole pie. I got to be able to get up and no indigestion.
Yeah.
Good old health advice with Kevin Apollo. I respect it, good sir.
Wait until a piece of pizza gives you indigestion. Anyway, Wild Man of Yavin for another $5 here. Says 5 more for the CBS fund. Oh, dude, they robbed us over on that park place, and we were angry. Or actually, technically, I guess it was on Pro Show. It was bad. Also, I was actually intrigued by Mortal Kombat. I think it will be a B movie fun. Yes, on a Friday night, sitting at home with a beer. That sounds like a good Friday to me. The boss will probably be like, "Why are you watching this stupid fighting movie?" I'll be like, "Because it's fun. It's fun." And the girls are wearing nearly nothing. It's going to be great. Speaking of nearly great, or actually great, I should say. Butterbiscuit 92, actually great for $5 more. Okay, now you and I can actually eat something. Okay, I'm excited for it.
Eat! What a miracle!
You hear all the classic lines. Get over here and finish him. That's all I need. Just dumb fun. Me too. I'm all about dumb fun, or just being dumb, because I'm pretty dumb. Anyway, Star Fox, Firefox, my fault. Anyway,
It's all good. Also, shout out to Pam. Thank you for joining us, Pam. All right. Well, I think it's about time we put a wrap on this show but who knows what kind of movie speculating and video game news will break next week. But I want to say thank you to everyone for coming out today for this. I know we're a bit film heavy this week, but I think we're at a really golden age right now we're entering a golden age for gaming movies. Hopefully, if they're good. Zelda, I'm watching you closely. So I think there's going to be a lot of speculation with that, and we're going to be hearing a lot more, hopefully figuring out what's going to be going on with the Nintendo Switch 2 scene here in the future with Donkey Kong's release. We're probably only a little bit away from getting some more Mario news. There's some speculation on that now that Donkey Kong wasn't actually handled by I believe the producer of Bonanza that handled Odyssey in the past. So I think we definitely got a lot more news to cover next week on that. Game plays at Saturdays at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. But let's go ahead and take a minute to plug some wonderful content from the panel that you can watch in the meantime. Kevin, you've got a lot of places to find you, a lot of stuff coming up. Can you take some time to share with the audience what you have in store?
Sure. Next Friday, Lauren Connor and I will debut the Lauren and Apollo show, right? That's what it's called now, right? We've got the opening credits.
It's Lauren and Apollo.
It's floating around out there on the Twitters. It's go to Pro's YouTube channel where he debuted it. We've got a lot of fun stuff coming up, and then at some point in time, the House of Apollo YouTube channel will go live. Hopefully, sooner rather than later. Going to work on some things. Got a lot of fun stuff planned for that too, and all of our regular friends will be there to be a part of the party. Yes, that includes you, bud. You or
Yeah.
the both of yous. So it's a lot of fun things going on. That, follow me on the Twitter at War Dog Apollo, and I'll see you when I see you.
Yeah, and if you follow War Dog Apollo, be prepared because the politics flow. Speaking of flowing, you can check me over on, obviously here, That Gameplays, but I'm also pretty much everywhere else that this guy down here is. And I also have a channel called Culture Casino. You should check it out. I'm on my way to 40K. If I get to 40K, I'm going to dress like Alf. That'll be a good time. And what else do we got coming? I'm going to be on the road, so you're going to have culture from the road all over the place, which will be all the way from West Coast to East Coast through Texas and even Louisiana down the 10 freeway. You can follow me on my way. That's right. And I'll be hanging out with the Floridians. I'll hang out with the South Carolinians, maybe some North Carolinians and some Tennesseans. I'm going to be everywhere. I'm going to be in the what's that other place? Louisiana. I'm going to be there. I'll be Indiana. I'm going to there's I'm going to go through 12 states. 12 states. I've been everywhere, man. And so that'll be happening soon. But look, do check out my channel. Do check out the new channel, Campione Reacts, where I let the ladies take over the channel and tell you all about, good, bad, and stupid TikTok dating trends, and then they comment them, and I go, wow. And I say wow a lot. I'm like Luke Wilson on that show. Speaking of Luke Wilson on a show, we got Nolan Thunder.
Well, I don't have Luke Wilson, but I do have Kevin Apollo doing some voice work for an upcoming video I have. This is weird. I'm used to plugging That Gameplays right now, but we're here. So, all right, you can find me on my YouTube channel at Nolan Thunder. I talk about video game urban legends and internet mysteries. I was up at midnight the other day editing my new episode of my series called Lost in the Files, which explores the many urban legends and mysteries in video games. It's a mix of comedy, B-movie horror, and it's complete with that sweet, sweet 80s synthesizer soundtrack. I'm talking a mystery on Super Mario 64, a beloved classic that might have been built with an experimental AI. So if you're interested in that, please check out my documentary, hopefully coming out here in hopefully a few weeks. I just want to say, please check out Culture Casino, 6 Minute Daily, Kevin Apollo, with the Kevin Lauren Show. There's a lot of great things coming. And one more time, I just want to say thank you to everyone in our chat. We could not do this without you, and the engagement has been great. Culture, go ahead.
We have something we have to say.
Oh, you? Okay.
What do we always say when we leave?
Oh, yeah. I was getting to that. Yeah, let's. I think it's time. But once again, thank you everyone for joining us. And as we like to say around here, get your game on!
Get your game on! I'm going to hit the button.